friends. Welcome back. Today, I want to talk about groceries because let's be honest, this is one area where we're all feeling the pressure. Prices feel high and it's easy to overspend. And when you get to the checkout line, the total can be such a shocker. I'm not doing anything extreme, but there are a few things that I've been doing that are making my grocery budget more manageable. So, here are 5 grocery habits that are saving me the most money right now. So, number one, I shop my freezer and my pantry first. Before I ever plan my meals, before I ever write a grocery list, I head into my pantry. I look to see what we have on hand already. I look in my freezer to see what meats we have, what frozen items, foods I can use to create dinners for the week. And almost every time, I realize we had way more food than I thought. Think of it this way, your freezer is like a savings account because this is food you've already bought. So if I can build 2 to 3 meals out of food I already own, then that is going to be saving money right away. And this one habit can really make a huge difference. Number two is I plan 5 dinners a week instead of 7. Now, I know you might be thinking, but Christy, you just told us to plan out all our meals. And I'm not saying don't plan out your meals. I'm just saying plan 5 dinners that you can stretch into 7 meals. So, what do I mean by that? We don't need 7 completely new meals every single week. There are always leftovers. There are simple, repeatable lunches. And something that I used to do when our kids were young, and we still do it today, is have what we called a fend night. So this is when I clean out the fridge. So I'll pull out all the leftovers that are in the fridge. Maybe I'll even pull out extra stuff like cottage cheese, or if we have some extra vegetables or something in there, I'll pull it all out. I lay it out on the kitchen counter and I say, have at it. And everybody picks and chooses what they want to eat for dinner that night based on the items that are left. And my kids loved this because they felt like they were at a buffet and they could choose whatever they wanted to eat that night. And I liked it because we weren't wasting food. This is all leftover food that maybe we would just be throwing out at the end of the week because it went bad before we had the opportunity to eat it. And so planning fewer meals helps you reduce waste. It keeps you from overspending because you don't have to buy more ingredients to buy more or to make more food. And it reduces stress, especially for the ones that are making all the food. So I used to overplan, but now I like to just keep it very simple. And keeping things simple will save you time. It will save you time, but it will also save you money. Number 3, I build my meals around the sales and not around my cravings. I know this might be really hard for some of you because you are more spontaneous and you like to get up each day and decide, what do I feel like eating for dinner tonight? But that is almost always going to be something that busts your budget. So instead of deciding what I feel like eating and then buying what I need, I always check the sales first. And if chicken is on sale, guess what? We're going to eat a lot of chicken this week. And if beef is not on sale, and it's not on sale anywhere right now, we're not eating beef. And so, actually, in the last few months, we really have ate very little beef, other than if I can find it on a really good sale, which hasn't happened, or clearance. Every grocery store has a clearance section for meat. And it would be very beneficial for you to find out where yours is and when they mark down their meats. Every store usually has a specific day and time that they do it. And so if you can talk to the butcher or talk to the store owner and ask when that day and time is, then you can plan your shopping trips around that. And if you can get there first, you'll get the best dibs on steaks and roasts and all of the different meats that are higher end that are still good. These meats aren't bad. They haven't expired. Maybe they're going to expire in the next few days, but that's okay because you're going to bring that home and either one, cook it very soon because you're only planning your meals for 5 nights, or two, stick it in your freezer and that will become something that you shop for next week's meals. So definitely find out when your store has their clearance markdowns and where they keep those meats and shop those. It's a great way to save on meat. Being flexible is such a great way to save money, and being willing to adjust what you're going to make that week based on the sales, it will actually help you save $20 to $40 easily every week or more. Number 4, I keep convenience food to a minimum. I'm not saying don't ever buy convenience foods, but keep in mind that that convenience is costing you. And a couple dollars here and a couple dollars there doesn't feel like much when you're adding it to your cart. But when you get to that checkout line, those couple dollars here and couple dollars there add up fast because convenience costs more almost every time. So if I can shred my own cheese or chop my own produce or package up my own snacks, it really does stretch the grocery budget further. And honestly, those little upgrades, they add up fast at the checkout. Number five, I treat leftovers like assets. Leftovers are not accidents, they are future meals and sanity savers. If we have extra taco meat, that can become taco bowls the next day or burrito bowls. If we have leftover chicken, that can very easily be turned into a soup or sandwiches or salads. I am always looking for ways to repurpose any leftovers that we have because wasted food is really wasted money. And with the crazy costs right now at the grocery store, none of us can truly afford to be wasting our money. So I plan for leftovers intentionally. In fact, most of the time when I make a meal, a dinner, I purposefully make more than I know that we can eat in an evening because I want those leftovers either for the next day for lunch or I can repurpose them into another meal later on in the week or it becomes part of our fend night. And so I have a perfect example of this from last week. On Monday last week, I made a huge pot of chicken stew. And so all that it was chicken broth, a lot of herbs, a lot of chicken, shredded up chicken, and a lot of vegetables. So it was very heavy on the chicken and vegetables, and it had a couple containers of chicken broth in there. And we had that for dinner with some oyster crackers, nothing fancy. That was dinner. It was very nutritious and very filling. And then on Tuesday, because I wanted to switch it up because I know my husband will get tired of eating the same thing over and over again, I made some chicken rice and we had that with the leftover soup. Luna is making her cameo appearance again down here. You probably can't see her though, but I bet she'll jump up. Hi, Luna. Go lay down. No, you gotta lay down. So then on Wednesday, we ate the same thing again because, like I mentioned earlier, Wednesdays are just crazy. We eat whatever we can and we get out the door. Then Thursday, I wanted to switch it up a little bit, so I added some gnocchi to it, and that was so good. That's my favorite, in fact. All right, you gotta go, gotta go. And when I made it with the gnocchi, I added another thing of chicken broth to it. I should have said that. So by Friday, there was hardly any chicken broth left. I didn't have any more in my pantry, but I did have more frozen mixed vegetables. So I added more vegetables to it and I cooked it. And because there was still some gnocchi in it, it got a little starchy, which was great because it thickened up real good. And it became kind of like a chicken pot pie filling, which it was so good, you guys. We didn't have a pot pie, but you could have easily added it to a pie shell crust and stuck it in the oven and baked it and made a whole different meal that way. We didn't have any pie shells and we didn't need them. Honestly, it was so good. We both ate big, huge bowls of it. And then there was still a little bit left the next day for lunch. So this is a meal that went from Monday to Friday. And all I had to do was change a little thing each day to make it a whole new meal. And it was so nice. And so I highly encourage you to make your meals just a little bit bigger and plan for those leftovers. These will save you so much time later in the week when you need to make another meal and you can just pull out what you already made once. And it saves time, it saves money, it's a win win for everybody. And so while I have you here, here's a few more bonus tips that you can also do to save more money at the grocery store today. Bonus tip one, stick to a list. So this is super important because if you go into the store with no list, you're going to just buy whatever. You took that time to shop your pantry, make your meals, and put together your grocery list. So now I want you to stick to it. No adding anything extra to the cart just because it looks good when you're in the grocery store. And if you have a hard time sticking to the list, one thing that has really helped me a lot in the last couple years is grocery delivery. I signed up for Walmart Plus membership a couple years ago when I could get it 50% off. And I was just getting it for the to have my Christmas presents delivered for free. And also they offered some free streaming and other bonuses that I was interested in. I was not interested in the grocery delivery because I thought to myself, that is not frugal. But if you spend $35 on groceries, the delivery fee is waived. So it's free delivery. And I'm always spending 25 or $35 on groceries. I don't know who could spend less than that right now. And here's what's really cool. When I sit down to put together my grocery delivery order, that is my shopping list. The person who's shopping for me, they're not adding anything to that list. So I know that what I plan to buy is all I'm going to buy that week. If you don't have the option to do grocery delivery for whatever reason, I would also recommend leaving your hungry helpers at home if you can, or with a friend, or even go when they're in school, or if they're doing an extracurricular activity. Whenever you can shop by yourself, that is always going to save you money. And I'm not only talking about the kids, you guys. Your significant others could be the worst because they are not thinking about your budget. They don't care about your carefully planned out meals. They just want what they want when they see it and they're adding it to your cart. And you'll get to the checkout line and be like, what happened to my budget? Trust me, I have been there. And that is why I like to shop alone. But I also really love using grocery delivery. It saves me money because if I step in the store, I'm going to probably see something else that's on sale that I want to grab, but it also saves me at least 2 hours of my time driving there, driving back, shopping in the actual store, and time is valuable. But there are reasons to go into the store, and one of them is to pick up all those clearance items, like I mentioned before. And that brings me to my bonus tip number two, and that is have a predetermined budget in mind. Do not go to the store without thinking about how much you want to spend. And this is going to be different for everyone based on your family, based on your needs, based on what you can actually afford. But if you don't go in with a budget, you are more likely to just add random extra stuff to your cart that you don't need this week. And that will definitely give you sticker shock when you go to pay your bill. And also, if you have a budget, I recommend keeping a little bit of a buffer. I used to have a very strict budget when we were raising our kids. It was $50 a week, which sounds insane today, but this was, 20 some years ago, and it really did work. I could go into the grocery store for two adults, two kids, two pets, get all of our groceries, all of our paper products. And these are some of the strategies I used during that time. But you have to be diligent and you have to be intentional with how you're spending and how you're choosing to plan your meals and shop. And back then, when my budget was only $50, I had it down to the penny. And that can be very, very stressful. So I do not recommend that. I recommend today having a buffer of at least $10. That way, if you go over, you're not going to be beating yourself up on the walk back to the car or trying to figure out what you need to put back. Also, if you go under, that's a great thing. And then you can use any extra money that you have before reaching your budgeted amount. Use that extra money to buy staples, things that you use every single week, or use that money to pick up some of that clearance meat extra that I mentioned earlier that you can use during another week when it's not on sale. And then finally, you don't want to throw away food. So make sure that every week when you get home with your groceries and you're putting them away, do not just stick them on your pantry shelves. Move the old stuff forward and put it behind. That way you're always using your older stuff up first. This is especially important when it comes to your freezer because I don't know about you, but my freezer right now, my freezer is packed because I've been doing this for such a long time that eventually you build up a nice little stockpile to shop from each week. And when I get home with new stuff, I tend to just want to toss it in the freezer and be done with it. But here's the thing. I know there is stuff in the bottom of my freezer that needs to be used. And if I don't use it up, I'm going to end up throwing it away. So, what is an even better way to do this is when you get home with your new stuff, pull some of the old stuff out, set it aside, put the new stuff down toward the bottom, and cover it with the older stuff. So, you're using your older stock up first and you're never having to throw away stuff. This is also another great tip is as soon as you get home, cut up any of the produce that you bought, clean it, cut it, portion out any snack items that you bought, grate your cheeses, whatever you bought that is not a convenience food. Take the time right now and make it a convenience food. So throughout the week, you don't feel like you're having a harder time preparing your meals. This will help you not feel more inclined to buy the convenience foods next time. And so I realized that none of these tips are super complicated. These are really simple tips and they are easy tips that anyone can implement starting today. But it is really just about being intentional. It is making a plan, thinking about your plan before you ever even write a grocery list, shopping your pantry, making your meal plan from that first, and then making your grocery list, and then going to the grocery store. But be intentional. You have a budget, you have a plan, you know what things are going to sidetrack you and what things aren't. And be confident knowing that if you follow all of these steps all together over time, you're going to see major change in how much you're spending in your grocery budget week by week. Groceries are one of the most flexible areas of our budget, but they can also spiral out of control really fast if you're not being intentional or paying attention. Small habits beat dramatic change every time. You could be like, oh, I'm going to cut my grocery bill in half and then try to make your plan, then try to go to the grocery store and buy what you need for your plan. And that's going to be super hard and very stressful, and it probably won't work. And you'll give up. And next week, you'll be back to your old habits of just shopping when you felt like it, making whatever you were feeling that day. But if you make these small changes over time, they're much easier to keep up with. And that's where the real magic happens. Over time, these small changes will add up to big savings. So now I want to hear from you. If you had to pick just one grocery habit that saves you the most money, which one would it be for you? Tell me in the comments. I always love to learn from you guys. And if you want more realistic, doable, frugal living strategies, make sure to subscribe. And I'll see you next time.